Hello. So let's talk about respect today. I think I've covered this subject a couple times, but unconditional love for yourself will give you respect for yourself, right? If you don't have respect for yourself, then, right? I have done my best. Now, this is for me, to continue to support people regardless of whether or not they support me. Now, eventually that's got to come to an end, right? You be patient with people for as much as possible. Nobody's perfect. Nobody has to respond to every post you do, especially social media, right? I mean, there's like when you post stuff on social media, especially like this channel, right? I get so few comments. I'm going to like everything that you guys give me, right? You can beleaguer me, you can throw spears at me, you can do whatever you want. But I'll probably always like whatever you have to say. And I love, even negative comments. I don't care. I really don't care. You guys can throw spears at me if you like. I'm interested to see what you throw at me. But there is a fine line between justice and humility. What do I mean by that? It is safer to love unconditionally and keep pouring that love out there than it is to just cut everybody off and say, nobody's giving me any respect, and I'm the only one that deserves respect. That's a dangerous place to be in, because now you've fallen into the narcissistic tendency. You really have to, surround yourself with people that mutually respect each other. And if you don't respect one another, then what are you doing, right? It's not complicated. And don't waste your energy on people that just continually don't respect your time. That's pretty plain. You're not respecting yourself if all you're doing is just giving yourself over to people constantly that aren't respecting your time. Simple as that. Control your energy. I've been part of lots of groups that did not respect one another. I mean, it was like, it didn't matter how much respect you showed, you never got respect. So there's no reason for you to stay there. That's the work environments that we have right now, basically. So until, and this is a main project of mine, this is something I'm going to release here very shortly, is until you start creating groups that are forced to mutually respect each other, they won't. People don't grow unless they're forced to grow. And so you have to create a situation where people grow. The structures we have now are all narcissistic in nature, and it's not getting any better because people don't feel like they need to work together. So people just naturally fall apart at an individual level and say, well, that group doesn't deserve my time or respect, so I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to love myself, have respect for myself, because I'm not going to put myself in that situation. That's great, right? And there's some very good high priestesses, on YouTube, who respect the people, especially that support them on their channel, right? We all should support the people that are supporting us, for sure. But if you're not supporting the people that are supporting you, you got a problem, right? You're falling into narcissistic tendencies. You can't just lift yourself. I am a god or a goddess, and you all are my disciples. That's no bad, because we're all one, right? You and I are one, and so all of us are trying to find the way that we can serve one another the best and love each other the best in the best way, and what we have to offer, and make sure that we're at least getting, surrounding ourselves with people that feel the same way. And so as you elevate in consciousness and you become more self-aware and have more self-respect, you'll kind of just end up separating yourself from people that don't have any self-respect. And the reason they don't is because they're constantly, and you'll see them because they're all constantly pointing the finger at other people. That's an indication, right? That somebody doesn't have any self-respect, is if they're constantly pointing the finger at somebody else. Never taking ownership of who they are. I'm never going to point the finger to anybody else. I'm just going to remove myself. I don't need to be in conflict with anybody, right? I'm not in conflict with anybody. I love everybody unconditionally. And if you don't have any self-respect for yourself, I love you no matter where you're at. I'm going to tell you that you just need to gain that. I want you to understand that all you need to do is really respect yourself and pour yourself into the people around you that want to return that. And if they don't want to return that, what are you doing? Relationships can be complicated, that's for sure. Especially when you're in situations with, say, depends who you live with, family, your kids. If your kids are going through a hard time in school, you have to kind of take children and the elderly out of this equation, because as you get older, your needs usually ramp up more than what you can do for yourself. So you have to take children and the elderly out of this equation. It's, us grown-ups, right? And it should be our responsibility to make sure we're taking care of the children and the elderly, because they need help. They will always need help. So, but once your child gets to a certain level, you hopefully have done your job to help teach them self-respect, to control their energy. Don't let anybody tell them who and what they are. Say, hey, look, you are perfect just the way you are. Follow your heart. What is your heart telling you to do? And that's one thing we're missing in society is, society doesn't build all children up. They just give them a cookie cutter education system of what they, some institution thinks that your child needs to learn that's located a couple thousand miles away. Enough could be said. There's so much that could be said about our dysfunctional education system. Obviously, power should be given over to the teachers and the parents. And every community should be able to dictate, or not only that, but it should be a combination of what the child wants to learn plus of what the child needs to learn. Because there are things that every child needs to learn, but then they should also be able to follow their heart from a very early age, so you don't unconsciously victimize that child, into whatever it needs. There are a way of growing trees. Trees need water and pruning. And all of us are that way. It doesn't matter who you are. And I've never met anybody on YouTube or anywhere else in this reality that is in physical form that doesn't have room to grow, including myself. Everything is growing. So have patience, for one thing, manage your energy, and just become an example. That's the best thing you can do. And people will learn that if they show you respect, then you will return that respect. And if you don't return that respect when somebody shows you respect, then that's on you. Period. So think of it that way. You're living in a unified field of intelligence. Love yourself, but then love the people around you, and just see what you get back. And then that will dictate where you feel like you need to go in life. It's not difficult. You'll always have what you need. Just continue to show love for the people around you, even if you're not getting it in return. You'll get it eventually from somewhere. It's, you don't need to worry about being taken care of as long as you're serving people the way you feel like you need to serve them, right? And not trying to feed off of them in any way. Yeah. I think I've said enough on this one. I don't know what else I can say. Respect is a thing, right? And, we are going to move into a society that is mutually respective. But it's going to take a little bit of time and growth and putting people in something where they have to respect one another is going to be something that will allow the group consciousness to elevate, right? Because those relationships get stronger, your psychic abilities get stronger. Everything has to do with increasing the unified field. Now, You can always flop in the other direction and just go off by yourself. But does that help the community if everybody is just on their own and isolated? I don't think so. You need to be able to connect a community in a healthy way so that people interact in a healthy way and teach them how to treat one another and love one another. And it starts with loving yourself and having respect for yourself and demanding that from the people around you. So, love you guys. Have a great day.